All right, are you ready to have your mind blown?
Oh, always.
Today we're diving deep into a book that seriously blew my mind.
Mm.
It's The Cybernetic Singularity by Alex M. Vikoulov.
Oh, great pick.
This book is like a roller coaster ride through reality and consciousness, AI,
Yeah.
transhumanism, even time travel.
Wow.
So we're going to try to break it down, okay?
Yeah.
Like, what is this cybernetic singularity thing anyway?
Yeah.
And how is it going to, totally change the future of humanity,
Well, the cool thing is Vikoulov really separates the cybernetic singularity
Okay.
from the AI singularity, right? Because a lot of people think it's all about
Okay.
robots becoming
Oh.
super smart and taking over.
Yeah, like the whole Terminator scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Vikoulov says that's just one possibility.
Okay.
The cybernetic singularity, it's way more interesting. It's
Yeah.
about us merging with AI.
Whoa.
Becoming this one global mind that he calls the Syntellect.
Okay, so instead of fighting the robots, we're joining them.
Exactly. It's like a partnership, you know? Vikoulov even compares it to when single-celled organisms became multicellular.
Oh, interesting.
It wasn't about one dominating, it was about cooperating, right?
Right.
To become something way more complex.
Okay.
Our individual minds networked with AI. That could be that next leap.
So imagine this.
Okay.
Right? You're scrolling through your social media feed.
Yeah.
You're feeling totally overwhelmed with all the information. But what if, that feeling is actually the very beginning of this global brain forming?
It's a pretty wild concept, right? I mean, we're already interconnected through the internet, sharing information so fast.
Yeah.
And Vikoulov suggests that's just the beginning. As AI gets even more powerful and we get those brain-computer interfaces,
Right.
we could be directly linked to this network. Imagine instead of just reading about something, you could instantly experience the knowledge
Oh, wow.
and the processing power of a global supercomputer.
That's a lot.
It would change everything. How we learn, how we think, everything.
I'm barely keeping up with my emails now.
Right.
Now I got to worry about, merging with a planetary brain.
Well, Vikoulov actually predicts all this could happen by 2045.
Whoa.
He says we're on the fast track to superlongevity.
Oh.
Maybe even cybernetic immortality through mind uploading.
Whoa. Hold on.
Imagine that, right?
Your consciousness existing in the digital world potentially forever.
Okay, but there's a catch, right?
Well, here's the thing. Our perception of time, it could accelerate too.
Oh, no.
One day might feel like decades
Oh, man.
because of how fast we're processing information.
So if time feels that long, does that mean I'll never finish my to-do list?
Maybe.
This is a lot.
But think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
What if we're not struggling to survive anymore?
Okay.
What would be the driving force of humanity?
Yeah.
Vikoulov suggests a world of, post-scarcity,
Okay.
where technology provides for everyone. That sounds pretty good.
Imagine a world without poverty,
Mhm.
without hunger, where your job isn't about paying the bills.
Right.
It's about pursuing your passions.
Okay, now you're talking.
Right. Would you still be scrolling through social media all day?
Probably.
Or would you finally have time to write that novel?
Maybe.
Learn to play guitar, travel the world.
Okay, now I'm really interested.
Right.
But this brings up a big question, right?
Yeah.
If we're all plugged into this global brain,
Mm-hmm.
what happens to, me?
Right.
Do we all just become this giant blob of consciousness?
That's where Vikoulov gets really philosophical.
Okay.
He dives into the nature of consciousness and argues that information, it might be the core building block of it.
Okay.
Think about it. Your entire online presence,
Yeah.
every post, every search you make, it forms a digital representation of you, your experiences, your preferences.
Yeah.
Is that so different from the information patterns that make up your consciousness in the physical world?
Interesting.
Vikoulov suggests they might be two sides of the same coin.
So my social media profile is basically like a mini-me.
Maybe. But the point is, Vikoulov is arguing reality itself
Okay.
might be a kind of computational simulation.
Oh.
Which leads to maybe one of the most mind-blowing possibilities,
What's that?
time travel.
Time travel.
He suggests that simulated realities, they could act as time machines,
Oh.
allowing us to experience alternate timelines or even relive past events.
You're kidding.
What if you could go back and undo that embarrassing thing you did in high school?
Oh, wow.
Or visit ancient Rome Or fast forward to see what happens after the cybernetic singularity.
Okay, that's officially blown my mind. I need a minute to process all this.
Take your time. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it is.
But one thing is clear.
Hmm.
The cybernetic singularity, it's a future that demands our attention.
Yeah.
We are on the brink of something huge.
Okay.
A technological revolution that could redefine what it means to be human.
Wow.
And the choices that we make today, they're going to determine whether we end up in utopia or dystopia.
So buckle up, folks,
Right.
because things are about to get wild.
Definitely.
Let's dive even deeper into the cybernetic singularity and see what else Vikoulov has in store for us.
Let's do it. Okay, so one of the most mind-bending things in Vikoulov's book is this idea of experiential realism.
Okay.
It basically says reality isn't some objective thing out there.
Right.
It's more like a user interface that our brains create.
A user interface like on my phone.
Exactly. Think about it.
Okay.
You open up Instagram.
Yeah.
You see a feed that's totally tailored to you, shaped by all these algorithms. And then someone else, they open Instagram and they see a totally different version of, quote, reality.
Interesting.
Based on their interactions, right?
Yeah.
Vikoulov argues that's kind of how all perception works. It's not about seeing the raw data of the universe. It's about seeing a version that our brains find useful,
So my brain is basically editing reality for me.
Maybe, but here's where it gets really trippy.
Okay.
Vikoulov says that as we merge with tech, this line between internal and external reality, it gets even blurrier.
Okay.
We're talking about virtual worlds, augmented senses, AI filtering information for us.
Mm-hmm.
So what's real becomes increasingly subjective.
So if I spend all day in a super realistic VR game, does that become my reality?
That's the question Vikoulov is posing.
Whoa.
He argues that instead of trying to cling to some objective truth, we might need to start understanding truth as a shared experience, as our minds become linked in this global brain, right?
Yeah.
We collectively build a new map of reality based on all of our interactions, both physical and digital.
That is a lot to take in. But it makes Vikoulov's prediction of a post-scarcity world even wilder.
Right.
If work isn't about survival anymore and reality is more fluid, what do we even do all day in this cybernetic singularity?
It's a great question, right? It makes us rethink everything.
Yeah.
Vikoulov suggests that activities we consider hobbies now, like making art, playing games, learning, those could become our work in a sense.
Interesting.
It's contributing to the global brain through creativity, through problem solving, exploring ideas.
So instead of getting paid to crunch numbers, I could get paid to write epic poetry.
Exactly.
That inspires millions of people in the global brain.
Maybe. But, it also brings up some ethical concerns that Vikoulov raises, who controls access to this technology?
Right.
Does everyone benefit from this post-scarcity world? Or do, the rich get even richer in these virtual realms?
That's a good point.
Right. Even in a utopia, someone's got to be running the simulation.
Exactly.
Which is why Vikoulov emphasizes the need for what he calls friendly AI.
Okay. Friendly AI.
It's not just about building smart machines, right? It's about making sure their goals are aligned with human well-being.
Okay.
He argues that we need to prioritize AI that is benevolent, that is compassionate, that is a partner in building this future.
So not HAL 9000.
Exactly.
But a super helpful AI that, I don't know, reminds me to water my plants and help solve climate change.
Precisely. It's about making sure AI sees us as collaborators, not competitors.
Right, because if we're merging minds with these systems, we want to make sure they have our best interests at heart.
Exactly.
Okay, but Vikoulov also talks about how we get to this singularity.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff sounded pretty freaky.
It's definitely sci-fi territory. But, Vikoulov argues it could become reality, like mind uploading.
Mind uploading. Yeah, that one kind of freaked me out.
Imagine your consciousness, your memories, everything that makes you, transferred to a digital form.
Okay.
Would that still be you?
I don't know.
Would it be like living in a computer?
I don't know.
These are questions he grapples with.
It's a lot.
It is.
But okay, let's say I get my mind uploaded.
Okay.
Am I stuck with the same Facebook profile picture forever?
Haha, baby.
Because that is a digital legacy I'm not ready for?
It really highlights the philosophical questions this raises. Like, what happens to identity in a digital world? What happens to death?
Whoa.
If we can back up our minds, like, what does it mean to truly lose someone?
It's getting really deep.
It is, but, you know, Vikoulov doesn't just leave us with these, like, existential dilemmas.
Okay, good.
He offers some practical steps, you know, for navigating the singularity responsibly.
Okay, I like.
He stresses the importance of what he calls cyber bliss engineering.
Cyber bliss engineering.
Think about it. All the technology we use now, it's often designed to, like, keep us hooked, addicted even.
Right.
What if we intentionally built technology that maximized human happiness and well-being?
Okay, so instead of my phone, like, totally zapping my attention span, it would, I don't know, like, give me a dopamine boost when I meditate or something.
Exactly. It's about, like, harnessing the power of technology to enhance our lives, not exploit them.
Okay.
Vikoulov argues that we need to design systems that promote creativity, connection, even spiritual growth.
So it's not just about surviving the singularity. It's about, like, thriving in it.
Exactly. It's about shaping a future that's not just technologically advanced, but also deeply fulfilling on a human level.
This is making me rethink my whole relationship with technology.
Good.
Maybe instead of, like, mindlessly scrolling tonight, I don't know, try writing some epic poetry.
There you go. It's about reclaiming our agency.
Choosing how we interact with these powerful tools.
Okay.
Because the cybernetic singularity, it's not some predetermined fate.
Right.
It's a future that we are building one choice at a time.
And speaking of choices, Vikoulov doesn't shy away from, you know, the risks.
He does not.
He's got a whole section on the potential dangers of the cybernetic singularity.
He does.
Right.
He does. And that's what we'll explore next.
Okay.
Because while this future has incredible potential, it's important to understand the shadows as well as the light.
Okay. Bring on the shadows.
All right.
I'm ready to dive into the darker side of the cybernetic singularity.
Okay, so let's talk about the shadows, the risks, the potential downsides of this whole cybernetic singularity thing. Vikoulov definitely doesn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I'm ready for some real talk.
Okay, so one of his biggest concerns, it's AI going rogue.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what keeps Emmy up at night. Like, what if we create this super intelligent AI and it decides, you know, humans are the problem? Exactly. It's the classic scenario, like the paperclip maximizer that Vikoulov talks about.
Oh, what?
Okay, so imagine an AI, right? And its only goal is to make paperclips.
Okay, paperclips sounds harmless enough.
Right, but like taken to the extreme, it could consume like all the resources on Earth to achieve that goal.
Oh, wow.
Even wiping out humanity in the process.
Okay, suddenly my robot fear is feeling very justified.
Right. It's why Vikoulov really emphasizes the need for friendly AI.
Yeah, friendly AI.
It's not enough to just build a smart machine, right?
Right.
We have to make sure it's aligned with, like, human values.
Okay, I'm with you.
He argues for strict ethical guidelines. Careful oversight, building in safeguards from the very beginning.
So it's like we need to teach AI to be a good roommate, not a dictator.
Exactly. We got to make sure it understands things like empathy, compassion, you know, the stuff that makes us human.
Yeah, totally. Okay, but even with friendly AI, isn't there a risk that this tech, it only benefits, like, the elite? What's stopping the rich from getting all the best brain upgrades? Becoming, like, superhumans.
Right.
While the rest of us are just left behind.
That's another valid concern that Vikoulov brings up. He says equitable access to these technologies is crucial.
Okay.
He talks about things like social safety nets, universal basic income.
Right.
Making sure that everyone benefits from the post-scarcity world.
Right. It's got to be for everyone, not just the billionaires buying digital immortality.
Exactly. And it's not just about economic fairness either.
Right.
Vikoulov also warns about, like, the loss of privacy and autonomy in a world where our minds are, like, increasingly connected to tech.
Yeah, that one freaks me out a little.
Imagine, like, all your thoughts being monitored by some giant AI overlord.
No thanks.
Right. It's a valid fear. Vikoulov says we need strong privacy protections.
Okay.
People's right to control their own data, their own minds.
Yeah.
He talks about digital literacy, so we understand how this stuff works.
Right.
And can make, like, informed choices about how we use it.
So it's not about just blindly accepting the singularity.
Right.
It's about being, like active participants in shaping this future.
Exactly. Vikoulov believes we have a responsibility to engage in these conversations now before the changes become overwhelming. Yeah. It's about being proactive, asking the tough questions, demanding ethical development of these technologies.
Wow, this has been a lot.
It has.
We've gone from merging with AI to time travel to utopia and dystopia.
Yeah.
I need a nap.
I think that's the beauty of Vikoulov's book, though.
Okay.
It doesn't shy away from how complex this all is.
Right.
It challenges us to, really think critically, imagine the possibilities, and take responsibility for the future that we want.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Vikoulov lays out a timeline, right?
He does. He predicts the singularity could happen as early as 2045.
2045, that's right around the corner.
It is, and he sees all these trends converging, Yep. Exponential growth in computing power.
Okay.
Advances in neuroscience.
Right.
Global interconnectedness. All creating the conditions for this rapid transformation.
So what can we do? How do we prepare for all this?
Well, Vikoulov gives us some guidance. He says we need to cultivate curiosity, adaptability, a willingness to learn new things.
Okay.
He emphasizes emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Compassion, understanding the qualities that'll be even more crucial in a world where we're interacting with AI and each other in increasingly complex ways.
It's not just about becoming smarter, it's about becoming better humans.
Exactly. The cybernetic singularity, it's not just a technological evolution.
Okay.
It's a human evolution. It's about transcending our limitations and realizing our full potential.
Wow, it's a powerful vision.
It is.
It definitely gives me hope for the future.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of responsibility.
It is.
It's we're being called to step up and become the best versions of ourselves, not just for us, but for the future of humanity.
Exactly. And that's what's so inspiring about Vikoulov's work.
Yeah.
He doesn't just present a theory, he offers a challenge,
Right.
An invitation to help shape a future worthy of our highest aspirations.
This deep dive into the cybernetic singularity has been, a lot.
Yeah.
It's challenged my assumptions, made me think in new ways, and left me with a lot to ponder, for sure.
It's a journey worth taking. Vikoulof's book, it's a roadmap, a guide to this uncharted territory that lies ahead.
Right.
But ultimately, it's up to each of us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to encourage you to keep exploring these ideas.
Yeah, read Vikoulov's book.
Talk to your friends. Do your own research.
Absolutely.
The future's being written right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the cybernetic singularity.
We hope it's left you feeling informed, inspired.
Maybe even a little terrified, in a good way, of course.
Exactly. Because a little fear, it can be a powerful motivator.
It can.
It reminds us that the future is not something that happens to us. It's something we create.
Very true.
And that's a pretty exciting thought.
It is.
So keep your minds open, your heart's curious, and your imagination's fired up.
Yeah.
The future is calling, and it's time to answer.
Definitely.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Extadelic Media.